here's the deal. No one's reading every word. Like, people are skimming. We do it. Your clients are doing it. Your customers are doing it. So a big wall of text is going to scare people away.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 176, and this is one of those we can't believe we haven't done an episode on this yet episode because it's that important. So sorry that we've failed you.
We have not failed you. Sorry you've had to wait so long.
Yes.
You've had to wait 176 episodes to hear
sorry.
Such an important topic.
Yes. Today, we're talking about something that will change the way that you write your blog content forever. Anytime we say forever, I want to insert that GIF.
Sandlot GIF.
Forever. Yes.
Forever.
It's not about your keywords, because you probably thought that. It's not about your word count, because that might have crossed your mind also. And it's not even about how often you post, because that's something that we think about too. It's about how skimmable, say that 3 times fast, your blog content actually is. Do you have bite-sized content, short paragraphs, bolded phrases, headings that make sense, and of course, we have to use our keywords, and making sure that your reader doesn't land on your blog and immediately feel like they're about to read a college thesis. Because if it looks like a college thesis, you're going to lose somebody because that looks like so much content that they're overwhelmed. They have no idea where to start. They don't want to read that much. They want something that is super skimmable so they can go through it and kind of decide the parts and pieces that they actually want to dive more into. Not only that, but here's the truth. Google is shifting toward AI-generated results. Your audience is skimming, they're not reading. And search engines and AI tools are pulling your content into their actual answers when people are searching for things. So, making sure that things are skimmable and easy to read and easy to digest and not overwhelming is so important when it comes to writing your blog content.
So ultimately, we're talking about formatting your blog. Like, the format of your blog is going to matter now more than it ever has before, especially when it comes to SEO, if you want to show up within search results, right? So Google and other AI features are now scanning your blog. They're looking to summarize, pull out content, and use them into snippets. Because Google also knows that people don't read, people skim. So Google is making even the search engine result page look skimmable. That's why you see these featured sections and the AI overviews being chunked out into these little bite-sized pieces of content. So that is something that you have to keep in mind too. Blogs that are going to be well organized, clear, bite-sized, they're more likely that those are going to be pulled into those featured answers. And that's where you win nowadays on the search engine page. You win when you're being highlighted in those featured answers on Google. Those are the results that you want to show up. It's not just about being on the first page anymore.
I have a question for you personally. Mm-hmm. How often do you read that AI overview, that very first thing that's right there?
Every time.
I do too.
Every time.
Every time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I read it every single time. That's the first thing I look at.
Yeah.
Because it is like...
And they make it skimmable.
Yes. And it's almost like the new... It's the new page 1.
It is,
AI overview.
absolutely.
Because you know you're getting a bunch of sources over there in the right-hand side. I can look at like which one is answering my question the best and then click through to the answer on the right that is like answering what I'm searching for.
Yep.
It is wild. So again, you also have to remember, like, we can't be, what's the word for it? Like, holding ourselves back from, like, fully committing to these tools. I think a lot of people are scared of them. There's a lot of fear in them. So we think if we ignore them, then, you know, maybe it'll just go away, or what's the point? Because everything's going to change again anyways. But it's not, it's about connecting with your readers, and how are you as a person and a human navigating the online world, and how can you make it easier for other people to navigate your website and your content too. And so that's ultimately what we're talking about. You're doing this not just for search engines, but this is naturally how humans engage with content. So we have to make these shifts for humans.
Yes. I mean, we would even tell you to do this on an Instagram post, like make it skimmable, like break it up, add emojis, different things like that. Because if you just slap a full paragraph in there that's really long, it's actually hard.
It's hard to read.
Hard to read. Like, try to read a really...
I was giving away, like, age here when I'm like, it's so hard. I need to up the volume of my phone. Volume. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm 90.
You are old.
Oh dear. So anyways, another thing to remember too is that AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, they are going to scrape this content, and that's what they use to answer questions. So the better your formatting is, the more likely it's going to get used across all of these different tools. So showing up on the new Google is what we're kind of calling it, right? This new Google with all these AI overviews, all these additional features, means that you need to ditch the long paragraphs. Even if you don't care about AI or if you don't believe it, here's the deal. No one's reading every word. Like, people are skimming. We do it, your clients are doing it, your customers are doing it, and Google knows that. Otherwise, Google wouldn't be making the shift either. So a big wall of text is going to scare people away, and SEO at the end of the day is all about user experience. So this is why it matters. You need to make sure that you're creating a really good experience and making your content easy to skim. And it is kind of heartbreaking because sometimes you spend so much time creating this content and writing copy on your website, and it can feel a little bit discouraging that no one's reading the story. And I guarantee you there are some people out there who are like super passionate about, you know, the storytelling, and they want to read it and all of that. But the majority of us are go, we don't have time, we're looking for our answer, and then we're moving on. And it's even more heartbreaking if you create this content and no one's going to read it because it's not formatted in a way that makes it easier to read. So we're going to go through 3 of the most important blog formatting rules to kind of give you an idea of how to overall format your blog. And I promise you that these formatting tips are going to make such a difference in helping your content show up. But not only that, but also increasing the engagement time on your content too.
Yes. So number 1, a big part of being skimmable is your headlines on your actual blog. So use structured headline tags to guide the reader and organize your thoughts throughout the entire blog. So if you don't know what heading tags are, we are going to talk a little bit about them, because if you're not a web designer or an SEO nerd like Abby, that term might sound really techie or scary to you, but it's really not. It's pretty simple. So here's a simple breakdown. Heading tags, like you might see on your website on the back end, H1, H2, H3, etc. They'll probably go through some more, or you'll see paragraphs or nav. These are just labels for the titles and subheadings within your blog post. So H1 is the title of the book, if you think of it like a book report. H2s are the chapters within your book, and your H3s are subpoints within each chapter. So you can see kind of the hierarchy there of H1, H2, H3. And just to note, you should only have one H1 per blog, and that's your post title. And then you're using the H2s and the H3s to break everything else down like a helpful table of contents throughout your blog. So I feel like I should just like make a cute little icon or something for this. Maybe we'll throw that in the blog notes too. But it's really thinking of that hierarchy with those H1s, H2s, and H3s. Again, only one H1, and that is the title of your blog. And then the H2s break it up into the chapters, and the H3s are those subpoints within each chapter. That's how you structure your blog and how you make it skimmable with that actual content that you're writing to.
And then back it up for a second too. Look at your blog. So go to a blog post of yours, maybe one you want to perform really well, one that does perform really well, something like that. And just read the headlines. Can you understand what that blog is about? If you can understand what it's about, then you likely did a really good job formatting it. If you can't, then it needs more structure. It needs more work. You should be able to, at first glance, be able to understand what your blog is about just by skimming your headlines. So number 2 is we want you to break it up with bite-sized chunks. So turn one really big paragraph into like 3 sentences and then a bulleted list underneath with another H2 or H3 subheading. So bullet points, bolded text, short sentences, all of this is going to make your content more skimmable as well. And if you have really big chunky paragraphs, again, people likely aren't going to read that. So I do want to be cautious. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves, especially with ChatGPT, is the amount of bolded words it uses.
All the time.
I hate it. I hate it. So there's a time and a place to use bold and to add emphasis. ChatGPT overdoes it, and so do a lot of the other AI tools. So please be conscious of that. Remove your M dashes, my friends. Like, all of those kind of little ChatGPT quirks that make it very clear that a robot wrote it. And it depends on your audience too. I think it's also interesting to keep in mind, like, our audience is marketers. Like, I don't want people in our world who understand the pitfalls of ChatGPT to like think all of our content is written by ChatGPT, because it's not.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something important to understand. But then there's a lot of other people out there who have audiences that are not marketers. They do not follow a bunch of people who are entrepreneurs or business owners or things like that. And so because of that, you're not going to run into like the same barriers as you would of our audience, for example. So this kind of breaking stuff up like this is going to help your content appear more in those sections like people also ask. It'll appear in those AI overviews up top. So making it super easy, not only for people to skim it, but also for the bot crawlers, for search engines to skim it and grab it for those AI overviews and the skimmable content that's even on the search page.
I actually think too, now I don't know, I guess how you feel, but I feel writing and creating more skimmable content is easier than like really long paragraphs, run-on sentences, all of that stuff. So this is actually, if this isn't the format that you're using right now, I feel like it's going to become something so much easier and quicker for you to do, and it'll just seem more organized, I feel, also.
Yeah, I think it's way easier for people who are non-copywriters. I think it's way harder for people who are copywriters and storytellers, because you really want to create this content that tells a beautiful story, and if you're someone that specializes in that and does that, you probably do it really, really well.
And you probably want a lot of copy.
Yes. And that's not a bad thing. It's just break up that story. Like, have sub headlines throughout your story so that you can see the moments of the story when it shifts, when transitions happen. Or even if you don't want to add bullet points, like sometimes that can really like break up a story and make it not as fluid or graceful, but just adding those little like micro headings underneath your story can still make all the difference.
Yes. And number 3, make the path to answers obvious. So use your formatting to surface quick, helpful answers that your audience is looking for. So thinking of things like FAQs or Q&As at the end of blogs, or how-to steps if you're taking them through like some sort of a how-to or a tutorial, like pulling out those steps and making sure that you're formatting it so they can clearly see step 1, step 2, step 3, and then the information that goes with under those steps. And then some stuff like definitions or examples, pulling these out into subheading tags. These are things too that Google loves to pull into those featured snippets. I know we talk a lot about too list posts, like those are like very popular blog posts for people. So like creating an actual list, like top 10 best non-toxic cleaners for your home or something like that, and then really listing it out like 1 through 10, having those chapters be the actual product or the room that you're focusing on, and then getting into more of the meat of the information of that product. So really breaking it out into how to, or here's the list of those top 10 things, or answering those FAQs, you know, whatever those might be, 1 through 5, and really formatting it. So again, it's easy, it's skimmable. Somebody can come to that page, they can get those 10 answers or those 10 items or whatever right away without having to read every single piece of the blog.
Yeah. So before we close this out, I want to take a moment, because I know there's someone listening to this who's likely going to be thinking in their head, what's the point? Because these AI overviews, ChatGPT, like they're not seeing clicks. The increase of zero-click traffic is definitely on the rise. We see it with our website. It's something that is normal. It's across every client I work on, every industry. It's everywhere. There's a lot more zero clicks. So what's the point? What's the point of showing up there? Like, a lot of people might be like, what's the point of SEO? So here's the thing that I want you to consider is that you continuing to show up in AI overviews and in those spaces up top is and can also be a brand awareness metric. So that's something where your brand name is super prominent. Next time you get an AI overview, I want you to look at the brand names of people, and I want you to look at the branding and their favicon, and I want you to look at all of that stuff, and you're going to recognize them. Like, I think that's something that is very clear is if people start seeing you pop up all the time, then that is going to start giving you that credibility and the trust factor before someone even clicks through to your website. So that's one piece of it. But also, I think we need to remember too that just because it's getting less clicks doesn't mean the clicks you aren't getting aren't converting even more. So think about all the traffic that we used to get before for answering a question. Half of those people just wanted the answer and then they moved on. The other half of the people converted. Well, now the majority of the people who are clicking through, they already got the answer on the search page. They're one step closer to being ready to convert. Like, that's huge. So showing up just because you're not getting as much clicks as you were a year ago doesn't mean it's still not an absolutely beneficial thing to do. And it doesn't mean that, like, at the end of the day, your conversion rate might be even higher. So I think that's something to think about. And when you're looking at performance of blogs, like I'm doing this with my clients right now where we're talking through this in detail of like, you shouldn't focus on comparing your content this year to 1 year ago.
Oh gosh, no.
It's so different.
Yeah.
Like, AI was just kicking off like the beginning of last year. And if you compare to that time frame, it's going to be drastically different. It's probably going to be a little disheartening. So you need to start comparing things to the previous period, and comparing your content like that, and just understanding like what content used to be performing last year. Was that actually content that was converting? Like, what were people just getting the answers? Was I just answering a question, or was I actually giving them something deeper to dig into and actually convert?
So what I feel like I kind of hear you say is that sometimes it's not about the quantity, it's more about the quality of leads that you're driving to your page, because those are the people that are more likely going to convert versus the people that were just there to get the answer and then leave.
Yeah.
So thinking of it as like quantity versus quality here.
Yeah, 1,000%. And also, so when you're looking at like Google Analytics and you're like, okay, I want to see what traffic is performing best for me. I want to see if it's search or if it's social or if it's referral traffic. So right now the search SEO is bordering both organic search and referral, because ChatGPT, Gemini, anytime that you are being linked as a source in any of these tools, Claude, Jasper, like literally any of them, if you're being sourced in there and people are clicking through to your website, it's going to be referral traffic, not search. So that's also something to keep in mind, is that when you are creating content for search engines like Google, then you are creating content that can show up as referral traffic. So you're helping your backlinks and your organic search traffic just by creating content, because they use the same platform to pull the content in. So that's kind of cool. It's like creating just this more integrative experience and also giving you the opportunity to work smarter, not harder.
Right, exactly.
So I would love anyone who thinks SEO is going away because of AI, just, come here.
I want to see that conversation.
Here.
I want to be a fly on the wall.
So to wrap this all up, skimmable blogs aren't just easier to read. They are going to rank better. They're going to get featured better in search engines. They're going to work harder in AI tools. They're going to keep people engaged for longer, increase your time on your website, and they're actually going to convert, because when people stick around, they take action. So this is something that I think not only should you consider this for the content that you're writing moving forward, but you should consider this to go back to the content that you want to perform better and think, how can I make this content more skimmable? And if you don't know how to do that, maybe you copy and paste that blog, or you grab that URL and you share it with ChatGPT, or you share it with Gemini, and you say, how can I make this content more skimmable and easy to understand? And you start implementing that way and adjusting your heading tags, breaking up your chunky paragraphs, all of that fun stuff.
And you can even prompt it to do it like the example that we gave in here, like a book report. Like you want your chapters, is that how it goes?
Yeah.
The title of the
title
book,
of your book,
the chapters, and then
sub-chapters.
yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, think of it like a book report. Like go back to middle school, right? That's how I always like to explain it.
fun.
And that's how your heading tags are structured.
Yes.
And it's something too that people think of heading tags as design elements because of how they look
Which
on
is
your website.
unfortunate for some website platforms. It really is, because some people are just pinned into kind of the few options that they have for what it looks like. But like, let's say the H2 looks way prettier or whatever than the H1, so people use H2s when they should be using H1s, which is really unfortunate, which is part of why we really love Show It, because you can make them whatever you want. But if you are in a platform that doesn't allow you to edit it all that often, please don't do it for design purposes, because that's not going to help. It needs to
be, like, it definitely needs to be legible.
Yes.
So I would say, like, yes, your title of your blog has to be an H1. Figure out your H1. That's the most important thing. But then in terms of H2 and H3, if H2 is not legible and you can't change it because it would mess up the entire format of your website, I don't love it, but it's okay. You can use H3. Like, I would say try and use them if you can, but then just work on your design styles and see if you can make some tweaks to make not only it visually look well as the back end, so that it's really easy for crawlers too to grab the important pieces of content.
Exactly.
So if you still need help with all of this kind of stuff, we are working this summer to revamp a ton of modules inside SEO on Tap, which I'm so excited about because the world of AI has just changed so much in the world of SEO, and we will be updating all of that. In the course, it's all going to be included in the course by the time we do a new little launch window in the fall. However, if you do join us now, you will get all of that content for free, because once you're a student of ours, you will always get every update that we make moving forward. And I always like to say this because we can't guarantee that the price is going to stay the same as we continue to add content to this course. So you can truly jump in at any time, and you know you're always going to get the best, latest, and greatest pieces, because once you're in your community, you're in there. So that's the exciting part. So if you have been holding back on this, definitely jump inside, because we have an entire blog module dedicated to helping you create skimmable, beautiful content.
Yes, please join us. We would love to have you.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review, and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.